Welcome to this episode of
Keeping Up with the
Jam
Kardashians.
Cast.
I don't know why I said that.
It's funny that you bring it up because I've been in talks with E
And Chris.
I'm gonna start to voice the intro.
Oh yeah, I've
just been practicing. Yeah.
That's so perfect.
It just seems on brand for me and the show at the
True.
same time.
You know what I just realized?
What?
And we should talk about this sometime. When we first started recording podcasts, I was like so annoying about sound. Like, don't knock that. And now I like don't.
Oh,
care.
yeah. No, you definitely were.
I'm so sorry.
You would like glare at me if anything.
I know.
You just look at me and be like,
I would like to
just
publicly
stabbed someone.
apologize to you.
That's amazing. I love it.
So I'm sorry. Because who cares?
This is my favorite episode we've ever done.
Like, sorry. Just knocked my elbow.
There's a 90% chance producer Michael cuts that out.
Don't. Can you bleep it?
We haven't had a bleep in a while.
I know. What the bleep that. If you don't, it's either going to say explicit or it's going to be bleeped. I'm excited for both.
So good.
Anyways, welcome to our podcast, everyone.
Welcome. Glad you're here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some behind the scenes that a lot of people don't talk about. And I don't know why per se, but this is something that seems to confuse everybody. And it confused us when we got started.
Well, so I would say, like, I only know a couple of other people who have... Oh, should we just say it? We're talking about having a studio.
That buildup was not...
Like, I don't know a lot of people who have a creative studio, but I know a lot of people who have, like, a brick and mortar, like, store. And you could put them in the same category.
Right, correct. Yeah. But there's a lot of people we see who want to... maybe they have a product business and maybe they're at... farmers markets, or they're showing up at markets and shows and pop-ups around town, or they're selling something online and they're like, man, I really want a brick and mortar store. So I think there's this thing of having your own space for your business that's not a home office, that's not a co-working space, that's
even
not
if it's
shared.
Just for production. Yeah,
but you want it for you. And a lot of people, like depending on what day you talk to us, I would probably tell you I love having a space or I don't love having a space. Sure.
It's been 4 years, over 4 years since we had it.
Yeah.
Since we got it, I mean.
Right.
Since we birthed it.
We birthed our space.
Is there oregano in that drink?
I don't know.
I was just curious. Anyways, 4 years.
Yeah.
It just now feels like, I told someone the other day, like the novelty's worn off. It's not like, oh, this is so exciting. It's like, this is the office.
Right.
But I think that's okay.
I think so.
We should talk, though, about like what goes into having one.
Right. And so some people, I'll go through numbers, kind of breaking down some of those expectations and then breaking down just some other things that people don't often think about.
Yeah.
Because if we talk on the positive side, everyone knows... It's very cool to have our space.
Yeah.
When we got our space, a lot of people would say...
Congrats.
They would tell us, congratulations. And I felt confused.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I just started paying more money.
Yeah, I didn't win an award.
No. I just got a lot more work and started spending more money.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy to get a space. You just pay people
right.
and they let you have space. So it's not
right.
magic.
No.
So that's cool. It also helps. We've seen some brands that we work with respect us or treat us differently because we have a space.
Right.
It allows us opportunities to host workshops or parties or photo shoots. It lets us have brainstorming meetings with a lot of people around a whiteboard. It's very private. We can have a 4-hour meeting and never be interrupted.
Yep.
Or we can come in here and work, and some days if we have no meetings, we can come in here and work and lock the door, and no one's going to bug us. Yeah, it's different that
we don't have hours.
Right.
Set hours.
Yeah. So there's a lot of really positive parts, positive aspects to having a space. And there's a lot of tangible aspects and a lot of intangible aspects. But what people don't talk about all the time is all of the little headaches and costs that build up over time.
True.
And yeah, so I wanted to share some of those.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear. Because
So-
I like kind of know, but
Right.
I didn't write the numbers down.
Right. I before we recorded this, I went through all of our finances and I tallied up kind
Things
of breaking
tied to
down
here.
our things tied to just having the space, that
Yeah.
if we didn't have the space anymore, those numbers would either drastically go down
Yeah.
or turn to zero.
Yeah. And most likely our overall income might go down.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's some things that we do
Very
we
connected.
wouldn't do otherwise.
Yep.
So our rent every month
Mm-hmm.
is
$1,600.
$1,600
Yeah.
per month. And if you've ever been in our studio, it's
It's pretty big.
pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
and,
who live in bigger metropolis areas.
Right.
Metropolitan?
Metropolis sounds
Both?
good. I think
Okay.
that's the city Superman saves a lot,
Oh, yeah.
right? Metropolis.
If you're from Superman City, you might be like, wow, that's pretty good. Square footage per money per square footage.
That's pretty good square footage per money.
Does it work that way?
Yeah.
A lot of people who live in like California or New York
Right.
are like, whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Or people who have an office at a different part of the city. Like we have a pretty good rate here per square foot.
For sure.
And working with our commercial real estate agent, this is the other thing you don't know. You need one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Don't ever not have one,
True.
for sure. We didn't have one at the beginning, and that was
Dumb.
foolish.
Yeah.
But you don't know. No one teaches you that in
No.
Bible college. We have almost the same amount of money, $1,550 every month, in recurring expenses that are just tied to being in here.
Yeah.
And so
I thought you were like, we have about $1,500 every month, so we never pay our rent.
yeah, we have our business does about
Can
$1,500 in
someone-
revenue.
We've set up a Patreon. Is that what those are called? Please donate. Sorry.
That's funny. If somebody wanted to donate, though, I wouldn't.
Yeah, we'll
get
set
mad.
that up. We'll set it up.
But so we spend almost the same amount. So that was one of the first things that surprised
No,
us.
yeah.
There were some really basic things, like when you sign up for your internet service.
Yep.
That costs
Way
5
more-
times as much as
Way more than your house.
way more than your house.
You have to put furniture inside.
Yeah, furniture inside.
You have to pay for heat and AC.
And when you have, like when we had our home office, we would go to IKEA and we get a chair.
Yeah.
We get one
Yeah.
or two.
Usually two.
And then here, how many chairs do we have in this building right now?
Probably like 60.
Probably,
You think more?
we have 60 folding chairs.
Oh, then probably like 70. Well, yeah.
It's dramatic.
Couch.
Yeah.
The couch is free,
How
actually.
many, do we count the couch as one chair, or are you counting it as like 8 chairs?
I counted it as nothing because it was free.
It's free.
Flooring.
Yeah, we had to. So this isn't even including that.
Oh,
That's just
right.
recurring
Oh,
expenses.
right.
Those are just this 1,500. That
Are you
number
listening,
is-
people?
So there's like almost
Yeah.
a little over $3,000 a month, and when we started, we were planning on 1,600 plus. Like,
Yeah,
we'll be
you definitely.
cheap.
It's like when you go on a trip and you estimate it's going to cost the least amount. It never does.
Right.
Like you're like, oh yeah, this trip will cost, $800, and it's like definitely going to cost $2,000 because nothing's ever like the minimum.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely did that.
So our insurance
Mm-hmm.
almost tripled when we got a physical space. We always had insurance for photography, but when we got our own space,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just know a lot of freelance photographers who talk to us, be like, "Oh my gosh, it would be so nice to have this."
Yeah.
And so those are all things that you can think of. What am I paying right now for insurance? What would
Yep.
3 or 4
Security
times that be?
system.
Yeah. So we have a security system. I'm trying to think what else is in there. All of your utilities are crazy,
Yeah.
and a lot of things that you would normally buy for
Snacks.
snacks can get expensive sometimes.
We've cut down on our LaCroix consumption a lot. I think we all almost like drowned from LaCroix.
Yeah, for a while it was like sparkling.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
We were sparkling.
Oh, we were sparkling, yeah. But I do think it's good to talk about because if you're listening and you're a creative person and it's not required for you to sell your things by being open to the public,
Right.
this cost is way different than someone who has to sell their clothing like and be open from 10 to 5.
Definitely.
And so definitely like photographers who are thinking of it, people who create things like florists, I know are always thinking of getting a space or they'll go in on it together with someone else. And so it's good to just think about, you know, considering it's good to think that maybe your cost will be twice as much as your rent, just to keep it up.
Truth. So all of those things are, I know that there's a lot of people who listen to this who are working on their own stuff and don't have a physical space that they're in. Somebody else who's more experienced who's listening to this is like, you guys are dumb. This is really
like,
easy
duh.
to plan for. But
Where were you 4 years ago?
Do you think we would have listened to anybody 4 years ago?
Probably not.
Definitely not.
No. We make decisions so quickly that I think we would have been open to their feedback, but we would have already moved forward.
Yeah, definitely. We're quick decision makers.
We are.
Is a nice way of saying we sometimes don't listen to smart people.
True. Did you have anything else?
Oh, yeah, I have a lot.
Let's hear it.
So the other part of this is if you think of how much time do people spend taking care of this new thing that you have that you didn't have before. So because I went back through our time.
Yeah.
And so we spend as a team collectively 5 to 10 hours every week on basic like
Maintenance.
taking care and making this place not look and seem horrible.
Got it.
Some weeks we are better and more successful than others at
True.
that, for sure. So that's something you normally don't think about. So if you're a photographer who's getting your own space for the first time, where will that come from? Is that something you can outsource? Can you hire a cleaning person? Can you?
Right.
Who's going to do that?
Do you have that time available?
Or maybe people might be just not like us and they're just like tidy and neat
True. Yeah.
on their own.
True.
We're not so much that way.
True.
And then, so those are just regular, all of that stuff that we've talked about so far is regular, normal costs.
Yeah.
And then there's, I went back through a lot of the things we spend as far as one-time costs that someone would work through. They would work through any kind of upgrades to their stuff, or if they're trying to paint something or get new furniture, equipment, all of that. And then the last thing I think is surprised me, maybe not you,
Okay.
was the amount of focus that it requires, or like it takes up brain space.
True. It's just another thing to think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's like, you know, if we're out of town or if, you know, we're all kind of scattered, you have to remember to check in on the plants. Like Erica, she waters a lot of our plants, but if she's gone, taking the trash out, just things that I think if you aren't in there every day, it can be hard. Or like if you leave things over the weekend and, you know, at the end of a shoot, you're tired and you don't want to clean up.
Yeah. All
Story
of
of
that
my life.
story of your life.
But it is good to think through all of that stuff. And like, we wouldn't be where we're at or be able to work with and do some of the things that we do for people without this. I think there would be a lot of, there'd be a lot of other kinds of work if every time I wanted to do a studio shoot, I had to go find a location.
Yeah, so talk about that, because that's probably been the first big payoff was in, we were driving around a lot for meetings.
Yeah.
And we were like, if we pay ourselves $20 an hour, we need to rent a space to save this amount of driving time.
And it's hard to ask someone to pay you like $10,000 and meet them in a coffee shop.
Yeah,
like
with like spotty Wi-Fi and the person next to you is loud and whatever.
So there's a little bit of that we were, I think, realizing wasn't going to work. If we had strictly kept all of our client conversations and meetings to digitally, you know, like on the phone or on like Skype or something, I think there's a workaround. There's a lot of people who just require that.
Yeah.
But photo shoots then were like the next step was once we got access to the back warehouse, we installed garage doors with windows, and I'm able to provide a lot of natural light photography for cookbooks and for our clients who have products. And there's that like control that you have over a space. You can be in there the day before to test. You don't have to pay, so I'm not
That's
saying
been some of the biggest things I think we've noticed. I mean, there's times where there's a cost, but then there's a time where you're like, I need to stay, or I didn't get everything shot today. I need to shoot tomorrow. So I'm going to stay here.
Yeah,
like
that flexibility.
I can do it tomorrow, or I can do it through the weekend.
Yeah.
Where if you're renting a space or using someone's Airbnb or shooting in a home,
You have to get out.
You don't have the same ability.
Yeah, and so for me, that like ease, or what's the word? Like that.
I think it gives you, it just puts the pressure on something else,
Yeah. I don't really have to feel like I have pressure and obligations coming from a lot of different angles. And I really like feeling at home, and I love hosting. And so I think that there's a lot of, you start to ask yourself, like, what do you want your business to look like? And what are the things that you want to struggle in? Like, I think there should always be an element of like, I want to sort of work through this.
Yeah.
And there's other things that you don't want to do.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
And so this has always been, part of it has been, it's just been one of our goals is to always have a space.
Yeah.
It's something that we've wanted a
And
place to go do our stuff. And
I think there's like over the course of 4 years of having the space, there are times where we wonder like what would have been like to have a smaller space or something more like storefront feeling or in a different part of town. We live really close. We live like 0.4 miles from here. So
like an 8-minute
there's a
walk.
lot of benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's something that people don't talk about often. And I don't find when I'm talking to coaching clients and I'm talking to them about getting space, there's not resources I can point people to.
Yeah. Like a breakdown.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, the rent on this is only whatever per month. And you're like,
There's
okay,
so more. Yeah.
you could double that or
For sure.
Just no one talks about it.
For sure.
Fascinating.
We should put together some sort of like guide someday.
Someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
It's just probably different too for every business.
Truth.
Yeah. That was a good combo.
It was one of the best combos.
I loved it.
I really want to hear from a Diamond member.
From our membership?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hello?
Hey Taylor, it's producer Michael.
Oh, hey, Michael.
Hey, yeah, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself to our listeners and then tell them a little bit about what the Diamond membership has been like for you.
Sure. My name is Taylor, and I am the woman behind Familiar Folk, which is a home goods and apparel shop that offers vintage, secondhand, and handmade goods. So far for me, the Diamond membership has been really good for the content that has come through the portals. My favorite part is actually the Facebook group because there's a community of like-minded business people, all coming from different kinds of backgrounds. So if you post a question, typically somebody will reply with an answer to your question, or at least a suggestion to get you started, or you can even bounce ideas off of people. So that's been really helpful so far.
Welcome to the portion of the the portion of the episode that I invented.
You did. This was your idea.
It's the best idea I've ever had.
Yeah.
This section is called Isn't That Neat?
Mm-hmm.
And in this segment, we talk about things that are neat.
I know what I want to talk about.
I'll let you go first. I was going to go first, but I can see the joy in your eye, and I want you to just go with it.
Cool. Well, Milk Bar got featured in the newer edition of Chef's Table, the pastry. It's like a 4-episode.
It's like a pastry-specific edition.
Shorter season. But I didn't realize that they have a gluten-free birthday cake that's now available.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we will be visiting New York City soon.
I think you have to order it, and it's for like 10 people. So we have to like get all of our friends who live in New York to like come hang out.
What if we just get a bite though?
And throw it away?
No.
You can't I think you have to order the whole cake.
We eat just some bites.
I think in Vegas they have a whole slice.
Okay.
And this is based solely on comments and questions in the comment section
of an Instagram post.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But I'm excited because it took them like 3 years to come up with the batter.
Because they don't really mess around.
I don't think they do.
When it comes to their
No matter what,
treats.
I'm getting some cereal milk ice cream when we're there.
No matter what, that's going to happen.
What's neat in your world?
One of the things that's I think is neat was I went with my younger brother, whose name is Ben.
Who just
Who just moved here to Columbus, Ohio. He's now a resident. I don't think he's like filed anything that he's a resident. Like he's not legally like.
I mean, my brother's lived here for like 4 years and still has Illinois plates on his car. Bobby, get on it.
That's embarrassing.
He doesn't listen to this.
It's embarrassing.
So what'd you do?
Well, so what I did was we went to a concert together, and it was part of Flyover Fest, which was a music festival, but it wasn't all in one venue. It was across different small venues in Columbus.
Oh, cool.
And it featured artists, mostly hip-hop artists from kind of the Midwest, flyover states, and which was cool.
Neat name.
Yeah. Isn't that neat? And we went to the episode we went, or not the episode. That's not right.
I love that episode of life.
The concert we went to had 4 different performers, and it was mostly spoken word artists.
That's cool.
And then one of our friends one of our friends,
kinda.
Milo.
Yeah. He recognized you.
I
He
know.
knows you.
We got to meet and talk to him in Bloomington, Indiana, when we went for a concert of his, and he was hanging out. So we got to chat with him for a bit, which was very cool.
That is cool.
Then we were getting beers, and he walked up and he recognized us, which I thought was sweet.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But I think he's very much an independent artist, and I think he probably he interacts with his fans more than the average Joe.
For sure. More than like
somebody who's trying really
famous.
hard to be famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is neat.
It's very
Birthday
neat.
cake and
Concerts.
rappers who know you. What else do you
Life
need?
is good.